Shit. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Convos Cafecito. This episode...
I'm not on Convos Cafecito.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you were gonna... Okay, so do it again. Start over. Okay, do it again.
Start over and cut and roll. No, we're gonna roll. Thank you, everybody, for coming back to another episode of Convos Cafecito. This episode is a very special episode because obviously we don't have Steven, and obviously we're not in the gym, but we do have...
That's special because you don't have Steven? Oh.
It's a little special, but it's because we have a very special guest, Steven's wife, Mrs. Amber Garnica.
I have a name. What? Everybody gives me a title.
Here's the thing. I was writing shit, right? I was doing like, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of research because like this episode was a special episode.
And you still said Steven's wife. You
I know. Okay, hold on. Let me just explain. I know, and I was writing it down, and I was like, should I give Amber like an intro? Should I just like talk to her in?
This is Amber. Bam! That's all you guys say.
Bam! But when I was writing stuff down, I remember you telling me that you're like, I hate that I always have a title because before, like it was Steven's wife, and then it was like Ayden's mom.
Which I don't mind the title, but like it's literally that's how they introduce me, and then I get no name. It's like, hi, and this is Steven's wife, and I'm like, Amber, hi.
That was like a proper one because Steven's usually in that seat, but I think
it's fine.
I just
want to give you a hard time.
No,
I told you that everybody does it to me, and then you still did it.
I'm sorry. No, but thank you for coming on. We were talking, and then we always said we wanted to have Amber on. We always said we wanted to have you on, but Steven never really allowed it.
Because I'm cooler.
Because what do you think? Okay, he's gonna get mad out the gate. It's like 2 minutes, he's already gonna get mad.
Cut!
We're done, hold on. What if he comes in, show's over. Why do you think he doesn't want you on the show?
Because I am way cooler. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'm funnier or cooler, I don't know. He doesn't want me to steal his thunder.
Well,
he's really good at public talking, and I'll probably just end up crying half of this.
No, why? Well, for anybody that knows you, everybody knows you have like a great sense of humor, you're really funny. So every time you walk through the door when we're having the show, I'm always like, Amber, and you're like, nah, I'm out.
Because I think you got, okay, like probably the biggest reason is I'm super inappropriate. And it's just like, and I have no filter when it comes to telling stories, and Steven likes to keep some stuff private. And so it's just like, he is just like, no, you have no filter, and you'll go, and then you won't even realize it till the end, and then you'll be like, oh,
so it's like
crap.
A precautionary thing. He's like, you know what, let's just rather not do this because I don't want to have to cover my tracks later. Let's just not do it.
And I think you guys, when it was originally starting, it was like kind of the gym and all that and being professional, and then here comes Amber all, and it's like...
Well, the show kind of like evolved, and when we really never had like a true intention behind it. Like it wasn't supposed to be just health or just anything. We kind of wanted it to be like a Rogan thing, where anybody that we thought was interesting in like our realm of interest, they can come on.
So if you're not on the podcast, you're not interesting?
No, that's not.
It's cool, I'm on. I don't care. I made it.
I don't
made the cut.
I don't give a shit about anyone else. I'm in.
Yeah.
No.
Welcome. I'm in.
Well, now you're in.
Cool crowd.
No. Well, we're really excited to have you on because, so just a little bit of backstory of kind of all this happened. Obviously, we wanted you to be on for like a long time because we thought you were funny. Well, I always wanted you just to come in when you come to the gym, but Steven's always like, no. Like there was one time you were sitting in there, and then I was like, Amber, come up. And you're like,
because you were like, and I got the eye, and I was all,
Yeah, you got the eye, you're like, I'm good, I'm not gonna. Well, we were all at the gym one day, and here comes Amber being Amber and doing her thing, and then I think she did like
I humped the air, yeah.
Yeah, she did a silly goose dance and walked in and was probably shaking her ass. And then you walked in, and then we were sitting there talking, and then you kind of gave us, all nonchalant, you were telling us about this award that you won.
Yes.
Yeah, and then a little bit of, so.
No big deal.
I know. Well, that's just funny because that's how you are. Like, it's just funny because for you, we were all trying to be like, wait, hold on, what the fuck is this award that you won? And then you were just like, it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And then Steven's all, it's kind of a big deal. And then we're like, that's a huge deal.
He says I always downplay my ability, not my abilities, my, what is it called when you do something great?
I think downplay.
Accomplishments?
Yes, thank you, Cara. My accomplishments, like whether it be school or whether it be work, like one time, I was at work and I delivered a baby and I was clocking out and I had my backpack on, my water bottle, and this mom came out and was like, the baby's head's out, and I just, here's your baby with my bag, and I left, delivered the baby, whatever, and then I left, and I didn't just leave the baby. First off, I say that, then the nurse came in and everybody came in, and moments later when everybody was stable and everybody that was supposed to be in there was in there, then I was like, okay, bye.
Okay, so
I left and I'm like, oh, I did it. He's like, how was your day? And I told him, no big deal. And he goes, dude, that's awesome. And I'm like, that's my job. Because I feel like, it's not that I like to downplay it. I just feel like if you do something out of passion or out of like true love, then you don't really need to be rewarded or validated.
Yeah.
So when you get rewarded or validated, like it's really amazing, but I don't need that to show like my passion for it, or that I like love something, or that I'm a good person.
You didn't do it for that. No.
I'm
well, I would agree.
person.
I think like a lot of creative people, I mean, we use Steven, because we both know Steven, like obviously he's your husband, but like.
I know him more.
But like, say, take him for example, right? Like, he doesn't do that for the recognition. Like, he does that because he genuinely wants to help people, and he doesn't do it for like awards or recognition, or like all that's kind of like a secondary thing. Like, he just does it for the initial goal of just helping people. And I think you're the exact same way, and all the stuff that you've done, and then after learning about like what the award was, and then learning about it, was just learning how much of a big deal it was. I was like, dude, we gotta tell this, because learning, and then I was lucky enough to read your speech, and then after reading your speech for the, well, can you just tell me what the award is and what it's for?
So initially I thought, the Epilepsy Foundation of Arizona, I volunteer for, and I thought I got invited to go to their big gala, and it's the biggest fundraiser, one of the biggest fundraisers they have of the year, and you dress all up in a gown and all this, and it's like super expensive meals, and like that all goes to them, and so I got invited to go to that, and she's like, we have an award for you, and I was like, okay, I'm thinking it's like AB honor roll, like where all the volunteers are gonna line up, they're gonna give us a certificate, and I'm gonna be like, I got a certificate, no big deal, but I get to dress up, cool.
Wicked.
And they kept saying, let us know about Ayden, because we're going to be in Phoenix. We didn't know where he was going to be at in his whole treatment process. And so I didn't think it was a big deal. And then they were like, we need your resume. We need a short bio of you. And then we need a couple pictures of you and Ayden and the family. And I'm like, okay. So I sent them this stuff, and I'm like, wait, why do you need all this?
Yeah,
like, are you doing this for everybody? And she's like, well, no, this is like the award for you. And I'm like, so like my mom had asked me what award I was getting, and I don't know. Because my mom was like, well, what are you getting? And I was like, I don't know, like I think it's a volunteer. Like I didn't even really know.
Certificate or something.
And so I asked her, I'm like, what is it? And she's like, and I had told him, like, is it like, we're just gonna stand up there all the volunteers? She's like, oh no, this is just for you. You're getting a Volunteer of the Year award for Arizona Epilepsy Foundation. Yeah.
So hearing that,
and then she's like, and just make sure you have your speech ready. And I was all, oh,
fucking speech.
Hold up.
Wait a second.
So then I went to see her, and I'm like, what are they making me do a speech?
Did you at any point where you're like, oh, can I just get the award and not the fucking speech?
I'm like, so I'm not a good public speaker. I could do this. I like to do crowds. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, you can entertain.
But like I said, like I tend to cuss, and I'm inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like I'm a good person, but. I like to pride myself on being a good person, but I am inappropriate and I cuss. And so I'm like, please don't do that. And as much as I'm inappropriate and loud and obnoxious, I'm super emotional. So I'm either gonna cuss, say something inappropriate, or cry.
So in a matter of 5 minutes,
yeah.
You'll be bang, 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 bang.
So now, September 28th, we're gonna go to this big award thing, this big award banquet thing. And I have to wear a big fancy dress with my hair, so I'm look like G.I. Jane up there in a gown, giving a speech, probably crying hysterically. And I was like, what am I even supposed to say?
Have you thought about if you're gonna have it like printed, or you're gonna try to go off of memory?
No, I can't
Don't go off of memory. I don't think there's any shame.
I think I just start.
Well, like the last thing, like if you don't do public speaking, you try to fucking wing it. Like the last thing you want to be is like, fuck, what did I write? And you don't have it right there.
Well, and if you've ever had a conversation with me, or I've told you a story, poor people, because I feel bad for people when I talk to them, because I'll try to explain something. I go way off subject, but then I come back. So I always say long story longer, because it's just going to be a long story. And then they're like, I talk, and then it's like, oh, wait, what? Oh, that's what I was just trying to tell you about that. And they're like, wait, what?
How did we fucking get
So I know if I don't write it down, I'm going to at least like highlight the main points. Maybe I'll just have bullet points. I know that for sure. I'll probably start talking about when I gave birth to Ayden. I'll start talking about random stuff.
That's why I always think having a conversation with you or just hanging out around you is fun, because it's like you're always gonna get like a roller coaster of a conversation. You're like, oh, okay, well, we ended up talking about.
Yeah, most people that really know me, like Ashley, Steven, and them, they'll be like, No, highlights. Stick to the point. A,
Can we
B,
go back?
C.
Okay,
What do we
go
need?
back.
Don't start to bullets. That's all we need.
Wait,
Tell me the
go
points.
back.
Yeah,
Go back.
only like the essentials. That's it.
The essentials. Just give me bullet points. Give me the spark notes of your comment, what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, cliff notes.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Pretty
I always
much.
said that. Well, it's amazing for one. Like we learned about that at the gym that one day. We're exactly point being. We're like,
See,
that's
I
what
do
I'm
it all
here
the
for.
time.
No, but that's good because now people know. But we were at the gym that one day, and then we learned. I got to read the speech, and then I learned a lot of shit about you because we've only really been friends for not terribly long, but I've been lucky enough
Why
to.
do you say it terribly like it's a bad thing? Oh,
No,
it's terribly long.
Not super long. We're just not
I'm
long.
just kidding. Yeah, I got it.
Not long, but I've been lucky enough to like know you guys pretty well over the short amount of time. But then after I thought I knew you guys pretty well, but then after reading that, reading your speech, I was like,
I had no idea.
holy shit!
Yeah.
Like we just never really know until you sit down and have a conversation with people. I don't think you and I've sat.
I mean, we don't
enough
announce like, hey, we
did all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's not like the first 5 things you tell people when you meet them. It's like I did this, this, and this. But I think for myself, I've learned a lot through Ayden's epilepsy like journey through Steven. I think a lot of people on the podcast have learned about it as well, like here and there. But I think after reading your speech and you giving like the whole background and kind of the story and the reasonings why you did what you did, it kind of makes sense why you're getting this award. And I thought, man, what an amazing story to tell, because I think a lot of people can find inspiration from that, because what you did is like a true hero's journey and like something that it's like if you think about your life, right, and you get faced with adversities, and you're like, okay, hero's journey. If I was like the hero of my own movie, like Rogan says, what would I do? And it feels like, it's almost like, it's very much like a movie. You're like, this is exactly what you feel like you're supposed to do. And you like fully went out and did it, from becoming the nurse and because you wanted to be Ayden's nurse, and I'll go through all that in the span of sitting here, but I just think like that's why we're here, because I think a lot of people can benefit, whether if it's their kids being sick or even just people facing adversity themselves. I think this is like a really good example of like just getting out of your own way and doing those things. Mm-hmm. You know, there's like a million people walking in. This is how the show goes. But just so from that, I think that's a good reason why we're here, to explain why you're here. Otherwise, because people would just be like, why the fuck is Amber going to be on the show? Blah, blah, blah.
Because I'm fucking cool.
And because you're fucking cool.
And I saved the turtles.
Dude, you brought your own fucking straw.
First off, I told you it came in a box that I got, so yeah.
First off, and okay, by the way, your first offs.
It's my thing,
legendary,
I know.
Legendary, the first off. First off, and you got me saying it, and then you got everybody else saying it.
So, you know how like I noticed I do that? Who called me out? Ray called me out? First off, she always says, first off.
Yeah.
Evan says,
Evan.
Guess what? Well, you know what? Guess what?
Well, I started
and I'm
doing...
like, so that's his thing.
You and Evan do this thing where, and I told everybody, you and Evan do this thing that I started doing, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I started hanging out with you guys a lot more. You guys do this, well,
I don't roll my head.
Yeah, first off, yes you do. So she does that all the time, but Evan's like notorious for being like, well, and then you see Evan and Amber talk to each other, and they're both like, just moving their heads around, talking to each other.
I know, it stresses me out.
I inherited that.
But it's literally, I know. Steven needs an award because one, he puts up with me.
Yeah.
And then when I just have Evan, I'm like, what? And then I'm like, dude, Steven puts up with both of us.
You said something really funny one day. You were like, I feel bad for when I talk to people, because you said like, you had to like, you see how Evan is with other people. You're like, I feel bad sometimes because like I see Evan, and then you're like, shit, that's like me.
Yeah. I can't even be mad at him because it's literally me.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, it's just funny because your kids are like polar opposites, and like Evan is very much you, like loud,
no filter,
says whatever the hell he wants, knows everything about rom-coms. The kid's hilarious. And then you have Ayden, who's like super mellow, super chill.
We'll call
like,
you out if you're being inappropriate because it's not. That's inappropriate.
Why did you say that? Which is very much like Steven. Like if you say some shit, he's like, why didn't you do that?
With the face.
And the eye roll, the classic eye roll thing.
Yeah.
It's just funny hanging out. I told Steven one day, I think I told you, but for people listening, we were at your house, and I was hanging out with Ayden and Steven, and they were both just like talking shit to me. And I was like, you guys are fucking exhausting. There's like 2 of you guys, and they're both like yapping at me. I was like,
and then you have me down in the background.
But it was fun. It was like a balance. But I was like, you guys are exhausting.
It's like a circus in our house.
Like you guys are awesome family.
And then we have 3 dogs jumping around, all crazy. Yeah.
But your dogs are the shit because they're very mellow and they just hang out. Well, except for when someone knocks on the door, then they freak out.
Yeah, then they lose
Then
their
they freak
shit.
the fuck out. Like
because they're all trapped in there. They never get company, so they're like, oh, there's somebody pet me.
People. So to go into the whole. Let's just reel it back in. No, we can do whatever we want on the show. If anybody's watched the show before, we kind of jump all over the place. But to go into the award thing from like the start, I think a long time ago I talked to Steven about Ayden's epilepsy story, but I think for you, and no one's ever heard your side of it, and I think your side of it is very inspiring.
Yeah, there's two sides to every fucking story. No,
but I think Steven's is awesome, right? You know, and you admire your family after hearing Steven's story, but you were very, very hands-on in the journey. So after reading your speech and then learning about it, so when you discovered Ayden had epilepsy, he was about 10 months old, right?
10 months old.
10 months old. So a baby. How old were you at the time?
So when me and Steven
and I
got pregnant. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, when we had Ayden, Steven had just turned 21 and I was 22.
Young.
We were young.
Yeah, really.
So we were like literally trying to figure out how to be parents, and we were the first ones of our friends to have babies. So you learn real quick who your friends are, because they're like, yeah, I can't wait to have the baby, and then like baby comes and everybody's gone, and it's just you and Steven and the baby, and then you're trying to figure that out, and you're trying to, it was really cool. Being young, I think it was cool being young because now they're older and we're still young, and we do a lot of really cool stuff with them. And but when you're that younger, like all you have is everybody telling you horror stories of like, oh man, this is what happened and blah, blah, blah. And then everybody wants to be the parent too. And then you're trying to figure out how to be a parent and you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
I probably cried a lot. Every time Ayden cried, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what he wants. What does he want? But with Evan, we were a master.
Yeah, you got it down.
The first one, it was like, the first year, it just went by super fast. It was a whirlwind. You didn't even know. I remember one time we couldn't get Ayden to like fall asleep. He was just super cranky. And I remember all three of us, it was like 3 a.m, we were contorted, but he finally fell asleep and we were like, don't move.
Don't fucking move.
And we just went to sleep. Like you just do it. And so being that young, we were barely figuring out we were getting it, this is his routine. This cry means this means this. He's starting to, he was already starting to walk.
Yeah.
He was super quick learner. And we were like, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy now. This is the fun stage. And then that happened and we were like, oh shit. And so here we're young parents and then they tell you, he had a seizure, but he didn't have a fever, he didn't have this, so we just have to monitor it. They can't tell you right away. So in order for you to have be diagnosed with epilepsy, you have to have recurrent seizures with no other symptoms. No fever, no falls, no triggers, nothing like that. They just have to keep coming. And so it started off with just that one. Yeah. And then the next month he got another one. And then the next and then the following week he got another one, and then it turned into 2 in a week, and then it turned into 3 in a week, and then it turned into multiple in a day. And there was 2 other times where he was hospitalized because he got 10 in one day.
Oh wow.
And so he was super heavily medicated, and every time we thought we were getting it, and by that time they were like, okay, he has epilepsy, he's just getting these reoccurrent seizures for no reason, so we're going to go ahead and send you to a referral. And so it's okay, so they send you to a specialist in Phoenix, because there's nothing in Yuma. Especially any pediatric disease, mostly that's a chronic condition. There's nothing in Yuma, so you always get sent somewhere else. Well, being sent somewhere else, it sucks because we're super young, and at that point we didn't have the best of jobs either. So we're making ends meet, and we're doing what we have to do. But now we're traveling back and forth to doctor's appointments. He has specialty ones he has to do. He was admitted for testing.
How often were you guys driving to?
So in the beginning we were going a lot. I don't even know. It was 12 years ago. So every couple months, and then it turned into every 6 months, and then every year.
Yeah. What were you guys driving? Like a hatchback Honda?
Whoa, first off, no.
Stevie looks like a hatchback Honda guy.
I think we did have a Honda once, but no. I don't know, we've gone through so many cars.
Yeah.
We're like car sluts.
Okay, we'll continue. Yeah. I was like, I wonder what they're driving in.
I think we were driving a Suzuki.
Suzuki?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know at the time which ones we were doing, and then we had a Jeep Commander, and then we had, Steven I think he had a Civic. I don't remember, but anyways. we were driving back and forth.
Yeah.
Just, we had a car to drive. We weren't like
I was like wondering, I was like, do they have AC in this bitch or what?
So we were going back and forth, and then when you get there, they're like, okay, well, he has epilepsy, you're gonna have to come here. They give him the medications, and then right when you think like something's going good, then they change it. Then they change his medications because now it's not working. Then we're gonna do this procedure, and then they try to dumb it down for you, but they still use these really big words, and they give you these medications that if you don't know anything about them, they do a lot of long-term side effects. Like, not only now, but like in the future. Like medicines, if he takes these, if you read them, like certain medicines he's taking, by the time he's 30 or 40, can put him into like kidney and liver failure because he's taking them for so long, you know?
How did you learn about that?
So first off, I tried to research everything, and then I found out that I like was dying of everything because I was looking up my symptoms and his symptoms, and I'm like, oh my God. And so I started doing a lot of research on that, and then I would go, but then I seemed undereducated because I'd go and they'd be like, no, it's not this, you have to look for this, and this is what I'm doing. So then and I wanted to know because they give you what what they have to give you, but it wasn't, I knew that there could be more options for him, or there could be more treatment plans for him, or maybe there was something they weren't telling me because this is just what they do there. Maybe there was something else. So I decided, I think he was 2 years old, and I decided I was gonna go to nursing school so that I could know, like when we went to the doctor's appointments, okay, what medicine is he taking? What does this do? Why does this do this? And is there another form we could give him that maybe has less side effects? Because unless you ask, they're not gonna tell you like, oh yeah, we do have that medication, or unless there's a trial one that's like, well, this one doesn't have this kind of side effect for this, and this isn't gonna cause liver failure, can we try this one instead? They're not gonna tell you, they're just gonna go with what they know works. And so I went to nursing school for that, and when Ayden would get his seizures, he would turn blue, and he stops breathing, things like that. And I wanted to, if I ever had to like save his life or give him CPR or do anything like that, or if anything else happened on top of that, I wanted to be able to like have the knowledge and power to save his life. So I went to nursing school. Hardest years of my life. It took me 5 years total. So nursing school's only 2, but it took me 3 years of prerequisites, and then
that just fucking sucks.
And then
they make you do the prereqs.
And then 2 years of nursing school. So 5 years total.
So prior to that's all amazing. Those are the things that I think I wanted people to learn and know about your story, because that's amazing for you to realize, okay, then to understand that, okay, the best way for me to help my son is to become his nurse, like you said.
I mean, I think people can help their kids. I don't think everybody has to go to nursing school. That's what I did, because I felt like that I needed to do that to be a better mom, to be a better person for him. Just because I was so lost every time we went that I was like, I'd go with my notebook and I'd have all these questions, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then they'd change it. I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. And then we do it again. And so I think people can do this without it. But for me, I'm very like, I have to know everything. I'm numbers, I'm statistics, I need to know. And so that was my way of just being able to control the situation, because I couldn't control his epilepsy. So I was going to control how well I could help him.
Going to nursing school and then learning all those things to help your son better. What were you doing before that? Did you ever have a plan to I'm sure you didn't.
I was a crazy party girl. Ayden definitely saved my life. I was a crazy party girl after we graduated high school. And I had Ayden, and he definitely saved my life, because I think I would have just been some crazy party girl still. But when I first went to college, I wanted to be a CPS worker.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to work in Child Protective Services.
So still helping.
I started volunteering at Amberly's place, and I remember having this conversation with this lady who said, oh yeah, once you get numb to seeing children beat, then that's when you retire. And I was like, okay. No. And when you see it, that's when you're supposed to retire, because you just don't. You can't
help. You can't.
You should never. That should never not affect you. And then I was just like, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, that's kind of heavy to know prior going into could happen to you.
And then I just stopped going to school in general and was bartending and was like, whatever, that's fine. And then I had Ayden.
Damn.
So then partying too much.
So then having Ayden, and then all that happened. That's, like I said, it's amazing. And then going to nursing school, it took you about 5 years. So while you were going to nursing school, how was it obviously full time? Where was Steven at the time? Was he at Zoomies?
He was at Zoomies.
He was at Zoomies at the time. And where were you guys living at this time? Did you guys have your own space?
Oh my God, we moved 5 times in 5 years. I think we lived in an apartment, and then we lived in a house, and then we bought a house.
Okay, perfect.
So while we were going to, because you know what? we moved in that house right the semester before I started nursing school. Because I remember being in chemistry and him being like, what do you think about this place? And I'm like,
I don't know. Yeah. Just pick one.
Yeah, we moved in when he was 2.5.
Oh shit.
We were moving in and Ayden shut the door and locked himself in. First night there. Yep.
He locked himself in.
And we were panicked. And we were like, the latch, open the latch.
Open it, just move it.
And I'm panicked like, oh my God, if he gets a seizure.
Right now.
And Steven's just like panicked, like we need to get in the house. And
were you
because I'm already like, he's gonna have a seizure, he's gonna hit his head, there's gonna be blood.
The worst
he's like,
possible
calm
thing.
down. He called the locksmith to come and get it. And as soon as the locksmith got there, you know the little credit card thing? It works.
Oh, the little thing?
Not at our house. In the garage. Oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. I'm changing my locks. Anyways, so yeah, we got in. And then the guy still made us pay. He's like, well, I came $75. We're like,
you motherfucker.
Right? I was gonna say that. I was trying to be nice.
No, you
motherfucker.
Yeah. I was gonna say, were you like fully ready to Tyrese it and like Too Fast, Too Furious and wrap a t-shirt around your nose?
No, because I had called the locksmith. They're gonna come. They're replacing the whole window.
It's too funny.
Plus, we had just bought it. It was a brand new house, so no, I wasn't gonna damage it.
Damage my own.
I mean, I was watching him through the backside
putting your hands on the
door.
hands. They're okay.
Watch what I'm doing.
Follow me.
Watch me.
Don't cry. Don't
Stay
cry.
right here. Yeah.
How funny, man. Just go into the room. Yeah. So he's okay. That's perfect. So he's 2 years old. Obviously, you found out he has epilepsy. You're going to school. So then, him growing up now, how is he starting to learn? Like, how is he reacting to understanding that he's having he has epilepsy and like how?
In the beginning, he didn't get it. Like, we would be really cautious with him, and we tried to let him play soccer. He got him in soccer, so he couldn't do that. We didn't really let him do a lot of sports because of that. Any kind of fatigue. We learned later on when he went to school, any like stressors, long test taking, things like that, those were all triggers for him.
Oh, wow.
So in the beginning, he didn't really get it. We would call it the shakes because he's like 3, 4, 5. Like if I'm like, oh, you have seizures, he's like, what? But we would be like, oh, you know, because you're going to get the shakes. You don't want to get the shakes. Here, let's do this. To be careful, you're going to fall and hit your head. You're going to get the shakes. And so, and he would know that kind of stuff. He didn't know how different he was. It wasn't until, like, he went to kindergarten and he was never really behind in school, like preschool, because all the kids are all learning their colors, things like that. And I kept saying, I think he's behind because he was so heavily medicated till he was 2 that your brain grows so much from birth to 5. Like, it learned, it's like a sponge. Well, the first 2 years of his life,
medicated,
he didn't really learn anything. And so it's not that he didn't learn it, he couldn't absorb it because we give him this medication that's trying to slow his mind down, right? So he doesn't get seizures. And then we're like, okay, speed up, because you need to learn this, you need to learn that. And at school, it's like, it's like a double-edged sword. Like, give it to calm down so he doesn't get them, but we need you to be up here. And so, you know, in the beginning, I'm like, are you sure he's not behind? And no. And I'm like, okay. So then I wait till kindergarten, and then I tell him, are you sure he's not behind? Maybe he should be like this. They're like, no. And then I remember in first grade, I'm like, okay, I really feel like he's starting to get behind, like behind-er. Like I know you're never supposed to compare kids because everybody's learning is different, but I'm like, no, something's wrong. Like he should be further along, or he should pick it up quicker. And they were like, no, this is common for first grade, and he's a boy. And I'm like, yeah, but he went to kinder, like, turning 6, like he was going to be 6, so he had that extra year. Sometimes they say, oh, give boys an extra year, and I'm like, no, I feel like something's wrong. Can you get him tested to see if he has a learning disability? They're like, no, it's a paper trail. They're like, we have to start to test him here, make some notes, test him again, then there's got to be a meeting. And I'm like, okay, so let's do that. And then they were like, no, it's pretty common for first grade. And I said, okay, fine. So then in second grade, it was hard. Like he would take forever to do homework. He would cry. I would cry because we would get so frustrated. I asked his teacher, I'm like, is he behind? Like, does he know this, or is he just not trying to say, I feel like maybe he's being lazy. She's like, no, he doesn't know it, and he should. And so that teacher was really proactive with me and like fighting to get him tested and stuff. And then it turned out that he just needed help. So he has like a learning disability, but that's not common. I mean, that's common with epilepsy. And his neurologist told us, like, most kids with epilepsy have a learning disability. So he has a really hard time in math and reading and then comprehending, because for Ayden, you have to think of it like when you're teaching math, he can get what's called absence seizures, where they last anywhere from like 5 to 45 seconds. And you don't even realize they're doing it. It looks like they're daydreaming, but when you daydream, if somebody claps in front of you, then you like snap out of it. Well, if you do that to him, he's like, so it looks like it. It'll be simple things like pin rolling, lip smacking, like different things like that. And he would do those things. And so he was having like these little ones in class, but we could never prove it when we would go to Phoenix to get him tested, because they have to pick up the brain waves. And so, so she said it was like this. It's like, you know the game Telephone? Okay, so imagine being on a cell phone, and you're driving through a tunnel, and then the call drops, and then you hear a little bit, and then you come back out. Yeah. So in math, you have steps. You have step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to the answer, right? Yeah. So he's there for 1 and 2. He misses 3, 4, but he's there for 5. Whoa. So now he's trying to figure out the problem, how to go from 1 to 2 to 5. So he's only getting that part. Yeah. So in math, that was his issue. Yeah. So he needed help with that. And then reading and comprehension, he's a concrete thinker.
Oh, like, yeah, I've noticed that.
So he's a concrete, he got tested, he's a concrete thinker, not abstract. If you were to talk to Evan, you'd know he's abstract. He thinks outside the box. He can tell you different things on why they're still the same, and you can get an answer 2 different ways. With Ayden, no, he's concrete. 2 plus 2 is 4.
There's no other way.
2 plus 3 is 5. But if you try to tell him 3 plus 2 is 5, he'll be like, no, only 2 plus 3 is 5. He's very like, so learning, and then could you just Common Core? I hate Common Core, because there's like, they teach you 4 ways to do one problem, and he's struggling to learn the one. So
yeah, so it's like, just fucking do the one.
Yeah, but so he was struggling there, and so we got him tested. Wait, what was the original question? What were we talking about at school?
No, we'll keep going. This is how it goes,
so that's what we had done. I went to nursing school, and then we got him tested. Yeah. He didn't know yet he had epilepsy. Yeah. That's the question. How did he know he had epilepsy? I was gonna let you go.
Because that's how it goes. No, that was all really good information, because I mean, I never even thought, like, because of all that, and from those 5 years, like the first 2, he had trouble learning, and like you don't really know that or what you're going to be doing.
And nursing school, Erickson's theory of children. There we go. I hope it's that one.
Well, it's interesting because because growing up, and then obviously he starts to understand. I mean, you're getting this shakes, and then he starts to understand what's going on. Like when he kind of knew he had epilepsy, right? Okay, so how did he take that?
We did that, and we had to make sure he knew that he would go to resource, and it would be a classroom where he would leave his class and he'd go to a smaller setting. And I never wanted him to think he was like dumb or anything like that. I'd be like, so we would try to make it like, no, you're just getting extra help. And this is so that on your own like speed, you can get it and stuff. And we try to make like him going to another class, like the resource class, not a bad situation. Because sometimes kids can look at it as like a bad situation, or, oh, I'm dumb, or I'm this. And it's not that, you just need a little bit more help. And you need to just slow it down at your own pace. And so that's what he would do. But then he asked why he was so different. Yeah. And that was hard, because we're like,
how old was he around then?
8.
So
8 or 9. Yeah, I think so. He was in like second grade, 3rd grade. Yeah. And he was like, but something's different. What is it? And and then what we would do is we would record him having seizures. 1, it timed it, but 2, we recorded it to see if it changed over time. Yeah. So the seizures he was getting, and like how he would shake, or his staring spells, things like that, would change drastically from months to months. And so we would record it, so when we explained it to the doctor, we're like, but this is what he's doing. Yeah. So before it looked like this, and now this is what he's doing. And so it was just a visual to be like, this is how long, this is what he looks like, this is how he looks when he comes out of it. And he asked to see it.
Oh.
And so me and Steve, I'm more like, okay, let's show him. Steven's like, no, he doesn't need to see it. Yeah. He wants to like protect him, and I'm like, no, let's just.
He's got to show. He's got to.
Well, let's just let him see it. And then we showed it to him, and he was like, traumatized. Oh shit. Not like in a bad way, but kind of like in a, oh, I'm different type of way. And he was like, why am I blue? Why am I foaming? Why am I this? And I'm like, well, and so I go into the whole thing. And I was like, so, the medication we give you, it's so that you don't get those. So you're slow, we slow you down a little bit, but then that's why you have a harder time at school, because you need to speed up. And he was like, oh. And then he just started realizing after that, like he's getting older. So, he doesn't want me to be in the bathroom when he's taking a bath. Ayden, what people don't realize is when you have epilepsy, there's a lot of things you can't do that you take for granted. Ayden can't take baths by himself. He can't be in a pool by himself. He can't, because of drowning and stuff, right? So
he could have a seizure.
So I'd always have to be there, and he's like, well, I don't want you in the, he's like, hey, I don't want you in the bathtub I don't want you in the bath with me.
Because he's also growing up.
Yeah, so he would want to take a shower. When we would go on trips, we have to plan certain things. Okay, we can only drive for this amount of time because then he's going to be in a car too long. It'll stress him out. We can't do this. We have to stop here. Oh, he can't go on this ride because that'll stimulate seizures. When we would go to a wedding, most people go to weddings and they have a good time. We would have to leave before the lights start because it would be a trigger.
Wow.
So there's a lot of like little different things people do throughout the day that they don't think about with their families, and because it's not anything for them. So then we would have to, ours was different. So he started noticing a lot of things. You can't go outside and play by yourself. I have to go with you. Sorry, I'm gonna go down the street with you while you play because I have to watch you. Okay, you're gonna be on your bike. Okay, you have to wear a helmet, but I'm gonna stand outside with you. And he was just like, why can't I do these things? So he started getting really frustrated, and he's like, oh, I can't do anything. I hate epilepsy. I wish I didn't have it, or I wish at least my friends had it with me. And I was like, where did we go wrong? Like, he thought he was dumb. He thought he was all these, like, he just didn't want to, he like broke down. And I'm like,
it's
what? So this whole time we think we're building him up and he's doing good. And he's just like, not. He was just having the hard time building confidence and feeling independent. Yeah. So I'm trying to give him independence. Okay, I'll watch you from over here. But he's like 8 or 9. He can't go past the site, the stop sign, and I like walk down the street with him. So.
Sorry. So we're at Cafecito doing this show, and there's like some going on.
Oh, somebody's like doing a yoga workout.
You can take it out there, dude. How funny. That was random.
So I told Steven, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, he has no confidence in this. He's like hating the fact that he has this. And so me being me, I'm like, we're gonna do a fundraiser and I'm gonna prove it to him that he's amazing. Yeah. Because no matter how many, I think when it comes from your parent, you're just like, well, you're my parent, you're supposed to say that. I can be like, no, you're the best. I love you. Look at how great you are. And when it's your parent, you're like, we're supposed to say that.
So this leads to the epilepsy track and field day thing.
Yeah, so November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. And so I was like, we're gonna do it in November. Mind you, this was like the end of September. Yeah. And I'm like, we're gonna do it in November and we're gonna invite the entire community and I'm going to show Ayden that he's really awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I kind of set it up to his advantage so that he can see he was awesome because he loves being outdoors. He likes CrossFit, he likes riding his bike, he loves running. Hiking, and so, he loves hiking. So I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it all about him. So I did it like a track and field kind of event, but I also did like mind work. So I did the giant memory game, and it was lightning bolts, but every lightning bolt, get it for seizures? So every lightning bolt was a different color. So you would stand there and you'd have to run out there and you'd have to flip them, and if they didn't match, you'd do them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was a giant memory game. And then we got hula hoops, and HLS has been so amazing. His school, like, they donated all this stuff that we could use for it. And there was tug of war, there was hula hoops, and we did tic-tac-toe with hula hoops, and you had to run out there and then put your things down, and then the next people had to go, and then once all of them were down, you had to keep running and rearranging them until you got tic-tac-toe. Absolutely. So I did a lot of physical stuff to prove that he could do it, but I also did a lot of minds, because I knew a lot of kids wouldn't be able to do what he could do, to show them, see, you can do this, and they can't. And then a lot of other stuff to be like, see, you can't do this, but they can. But everybody has a weakness, and everybody can't do everything, but they can still do a lot of stuff.
So it made him feel
wow. And so many people came, like so many families, all kinds of people. What's up, Steven? You trying to get in here?
Uh-oh. Hi. What's up, Chief?
He just couldn't
stay away. The Chief is here. What's up? You want to pop in and talk to your wife?
No. Okay, so we did, stop looking at Steven. Pay attention to me. Okay, so we did this track and field, and then so many people from Yuma came out. And then we realized there was so many people who were like us, who like didn't have any resources, didn't have anybody that they knew who was going through epilepsy. Because everybody has somebody's cousin's mom's, grandma's friend who has epilepsy, and this is what they did, right? That's how it goes. Yeah. But we met families who had epilepsy, people who didn't have epilepsy, but they knew somebody who did, and then other people who just came out to support, and then we realized, holy crap, there's like a big need for like resources here. So that was really cool. And then we donated the money, and I had been researching for like well, like since he was born. Bye. Peace out.
And he's gone.
He just couldn't.
He's like, I'm gonna sit there talking shit.
I had always used the Epilepsy Foundation of Arizona. I had always used them as a resource because they have all kinds of really good tutorials, videos, like stories of other families, what they do. They have resources on there. The only thing is like that's all in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so I had sent them in a letter, and I wanted to give back to somebody who was going to give back to our family, not greedy wise, but like give to somebody who it would also benefit our family.
You would see where.
So through this, we found Camp
Candlelight, right?
Camp Candlelight, and Ayden went, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay. We're gonna stay in a hotel. We're gonna be here for a week. And they were like, no, and they are all about independent. Like, nope, you can't stay. Drop them off and you go. And I'm like,
how was that for you? Like the first?
Because
how old was he at the?
So it was like what, a 5 or 6 hour drive?
Yeah.
It's in Tucson, Prescott. I don't remember.
And how old was he then?
9.
So 9, and then for 9 years
he had just turned 9.
You had been there all the time for like 9 years.
Or maybe he was 8. Yeah, 9.
Okay.
So it was awful.
Yeah.
Like I cried the whole time.
And you didn't know that?
And I told them, I'm a nurse. Can I volunteer here? They're like, no. They won't even let me. If I wasn't if I didn't have a son, I could do it. They're like, oh yeah, we're always looking for nurses. Oh, it's your son? No. Because they want to establish independence, but not only for him, but for me. Because for so long, I'm like, oh, he's mine. I need him. You know, I'm the only one that can help him. I'm the only one that can do this. You know, like Steven did a good job, but to me, that's my whole thing. That's why I went to school. Like, let me do it. Yeah. And they don't let you.
Wow.
They don't even let him call unless they're really homesick.
So you didn't know that going up there, right? Like it was kind of a surprise when you got there?
I knew, no.
No?
Like I had an idea, but because they say it like no phone calls unless they're severely homesick. No, they'll write you, like he wrote us and he made us cards, but oh my God.
Like straight military.
No, it's like really fun, but this is what helped. Ayden thought that he was like different and he didn't have confidence and he wasn't independent, and I realized, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I don't wanna cry yet because this isn't even like the crying part. I realized that like as much as I was helping him, I was hurting him. Yeah. That breaks my heart. Okay, so like, you know when you're a parent,
you're good.
You don't know.
You're good.
You don't know because you're not a parent.
Yeah.
You want to like do the best for like your kid, and then I realized I was like actually like hurting him, like so.
Well, you felt like you were.
Yeah. Well, no, I realized at the end, like I totally, like I didn't ruin him, but like I thought like I was the best person for him, and I realized like this foundation was like the best, not only for him but for like me. Holy crap! I'm like already.
Yeah, that's so good. Well,
what else? You don't even have tissue.
No, it's okay.
We're totally good. Oh my God! Is that toilet paper? It's so good. It's good for your butt and your face.
Well,
it's totally fine.
I think
Are we sponsoring them? Should we?
Well, there you go. Who gives a crap? Is that bamboo toilet paper? Well, I think. Well, just listening to the story, I think it was important. You got him. It's because of you.
Yeah.
It was because of you. You got him to that point where he can gain that independence. I think for you.
Well, I didn't realize how much he could do without me, and then I didn't realize how much I could do without him too. So like they have him kayak.
Yeah.
And
for you,
rock wall climb. And I'm sorry, when we go to San Diego, I would never let him do the rock. I'm like, nope. Can't do that. You know what happens? No. What if you get up there and something no, you're not doing it. So there was so many things I wasn't letting him do. And then we go to this camp and they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna ride the horses. And I'm like, oh.
So initially you probably felt like.
And I was like, whatever he tells you, he can't ride on his own. He's gonna tell you he can ride that horse on his own, he can't. And they were like, okay. But they're super safe. I was like, are you gonna put a life jacket on him? He's gonna be in a river. What if he has a seizure and he's in the river? They're like, ma'am, this is our job. And I'm like, okay. So they did kayaking, they do the rock wall, they have like what do you call that thing that's like, it's like a treehouse kind of, but like you. Oh,
the zip
line.
No,
I think there's a part of it that's a zip line, but it's like you have to like, it's an obstacle course, but in like the trees. Yeah, so like you it's this big thing.
Oh, yeah.
I would have never let him. If I was there, I would be like, down.
No way,
you're not doing it. And I think that's why they don't let us.
Yeah.
And then they like a total camp, like a movie. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And then I realized he came home and he was like, he went there like scared, like I don't know, I'm really nervous. And he came back, he's like, hey mom, and then like totally different kid, totally different kid.
Yeah.
Then he wasn't afraid to like try stuff, to do stuff, because he'd always be like, can I do this? Do you think it's okay? You know, and he was like, no, I'm gonna do it. Mom, let's just see what happens. And I'm like,
so he gained that independence.
Yeah, so the whole time he hated epilepsy because he said that, you know, like he couldn't do anything, and that, you know, I never let him do anything because he was like, he wasn't confident, he was not independent, and that was like my fault.
Yeah.
And then I realized that like after this, he was way more confident and independent.
Yeah.
And then that helped me too, because then I realized he didn't need me as much as I thought he did.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing because I could let him do things.
Well, if it wasn't for you and all the efforts, like, and all the stuff that you did to make him feel special because of the track and field day, because of that, learning about all the new resources, and then using the website that you had, and then learning about Candlelight, like, because of you in a lot of ways, he would have never gained that independence.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I know, because initially, like, I think, like, obviously she has a kid and then you have a kid, so I learned a lot from her, and then I think learning that, like, initially, yeah, like, you'd feel that guilt because you feel fully responsible for anything that happens to him, but from an outside looking in, I think a lot of, because of you and Steven and Evan, like, all you guys supporting him, like, you would have never got to that Candlelight and learned that, and then he would have never gained that tool of confidence and been able to be the kid he is now. And that's a lot because of you guys, and mainly a lot because of your efforts to do those things to make him feel special. And
it'll hurt my heart a little bit though, because I think as a parent you want to be the person to give him all those, and I couldn't, and I was just like, so like 1 week here and you feel better, and at 9 years I've been doing this. I wanted to be that person, but then I realized like I can't be that person all the time. He's got to do it too, and there's other people that can help, and I learned to just let go a little bit.
And it was your first kid.
Yeah, and what really helped is that I realized like, so like during that week, then we do something with Evan, and everything is all about Evan, so he kind of gets that like one-on-one type of thing.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't have this plan, but like I didn't want to single out Evan because Evan is a huge part of this too as well, right? And I know like hanging around you guys, like sometimes like Evan can feel like excluded, right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of glad you brought that up. So like growing up now, like with Evan and Ayden, like how was Evan kind of?
When he was younger, he didn't really get it. He would. It wasn't until he actually saw Ayden have one.
He got it.
Yeah, and so it was like Evan was in the bath, and I heard Ayden like do his like shriek and then hit the floor, and I was like, oh, and I like left, and I went to turn him on his side, and I was there with him, and I think Evan was like 3.5, 4, and if you know Evan, he's hella smart. Like he's too quick for his age.
Yeah.
And he climbed out of the tub, and I was panicked because I'm like, oh my god, my one kid in here is gonna drown, and my other kid over here, he's not breathing and he's turning blue, so I'm turning him. And that's where our dogs are awesome. Our dogs will go and lay behind Ayden, and they'll like be a little and then Evan comes out and he goes, he's gonna die, and I was like, oh my god. So like Evan at that moment saw what a seizure was and what was happening, and so we have to tell him too, he's not gonna die, calm down. But he's like me 0 to 100. And so he saw that, and then that's when he was like, what is that? And with Evan, you can't use like baby terms with him because he's like, shakes.
I'm not a fucking kid.
This is shaking. That's not the shakes. You know how he likes to call people out. And so I'm like, no, that he has a seizure. And that's when we were already starting to use the bigger words with Ayden. No, you have epilepsy. This is a seizure. And Evan had already gone to, I should have worn the original
it's all good. No, that one's cool. That one's
cool.
It's all good.
Our first track and field shirt. And so, he had worn it. And so when we would go to meetings, we would wear our epilepsy shirts and stuff too. When we'd go to fundraisers, we would wear them. So Evan knew, this is epilepsy, but he didn't really know what it was. And then when he saw that, he was like, that's the shakes, that's the seizure. And so then he got really sad. He goes, I don't want Bubba to die. And I'm like, he's not gonna die. Hold on, calm down. So he saw that. And so that kind of helped too though, because then he realized like, we weren't just giving him extra attention or babying him. This is like serious, but he feels it a lot. He's like, because we have to go because Bubba, we have to go because he has epilepsy, you know.
Yeah, and he's growing up too, so I'm sure he requires a lot of attention as well. Yeah, that kid. You want to pause real quick? I gotta piss like a motherfucker. Okay, sorry, I had to take a piss really bad, but we're back now. So like I said, I was trying to play Jedi mind tricks with my bladder. I was fucking dying. Steven always gives me shit on the show. He's like, I had to pee, and he's just like, there's no fucking surprise. It was the piss. And I was like, I'm sorry, dude.
You have a toddler bladder too? I do too.
I know. I'm surprised you even had to pee. That's
because I'm not drinking, really.
I know, and I'm here like...
You're doing both.
I know I'm doing
like,
both. Well, sometimes my mouth gets dry and I have to like put...
What in it?
I don't know, because I've been drinking.
Oh, because my mouth gets dry, I gotta put...
No, I put water in my mouth.
Well, you didn't say, you just like stopped or like I put... And then you gave me a look and I'm like...
No, I put water.
To each its own. Eric, you can put whatever you want in your mouth.
Water.
I don't judge.
And coffee. Well, thank you.
Some stuff's illegal, but whatever.
Okay.
Like if it's like an animal, then
I
you
got
probably
serious.
can't do that.
This is when I get serious.
Oh, okay, sorry. Good to go. Okay, where were we?
Kidding. Bladder, pink. No, we were just talking about Evan and him, like how he reacts to the whole thing and how he adjusts, because I've been there personally a couple times where he kind of like he was just like, he felt like the attention was obviously on his big brother, but some of that is like just growing up, right? Because I have siblings and it's like that as well, but then like you throw in the whole...
So I think everybody has siblings like that, but then you also have the fact that like he's always kind of probably felt a little bit backburner because it's always so much attention on Ayden, and then we try to like put the attention, and Ayden will always say, you think I like this, Evan? You think I want mama here all the time? Do you think and he tries to explain it like, I don't want to do any of this, but I have to. But Evan sees it as like special attention, and he's 5, so, and if you know Evan, he'll walk in a room and own it, and he's going to make sure every single person knows he's here.
Oh, kind of like his mom, huh?
I can be quiet sometimes.
I don't know, I don't think I've ever
But I will be making faces in the side, and then you'll be forced to kind of look at me.
I feel like if you walked in somewhere quiet, I would like instantly think something was wrong. I think like Cara and I had this conversation one day, like if like Cara or any of us come in with like a lower energy, because we're all pretty high energy, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with like, what is wrong with
what I really want to do is go into like a really crowded place, like a really quiet crowded place, like Barnes and Noble, and just
specific.
Like scream plot twist and like run around really crazy.
Plot twist.
Yeah, and then everybody be like, what the fuck's happening? And like I don't know, throw a pie or something somewhere, and then run out.
Oh, like if somebody's walking in, you throw a pie in their face and then you walk out?
Well, it doesn't have to be in their face, just something.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
I wanted to scream that in the hospital when everything was going down. I was like, plot twist! And just run through and everybody like, security! But then I was like, if I get arrested, I will be allowed back in the hospital.
That would be bad news bears. Definitely don't do that.
But I don't know, I think me and Steven were talking the other day, and I'm like, you ever wonder like the things you do now, how like you think they're good, but then you realize, fuck, that was not good to do, like it totally, like we thought we were doing good but it wasn't. He was making fun of me because I was talking about how like, how do you think somebody was like, I'm gonna figure out how this cell was created and you know, mitosis and things like that of like the cells and stuff, and I was like, do you ever wonder like why that person thought that he wanted to discover like the function of cell? And he's like, no, never. I never think about that. And I'm like, I just wonder like who was like, I think I'm gonna create this, and I think let's investigate this, and why does this muscle move, and why does the heart pump like that? And he's like, never thought. And I was like, I just kind of think things like that are like what I think about like parenting too, is like, you think you're doing a really good job, and you know they don't come with rule books, and they don't come with like assembly instructions, and you think you're doing a really good job, or like, you know, like the whole situation with Ayden that's happening. It's like, I'm trying to do this thing with Evan, but then what if like in like 10 years I'm like, man, that was totally wrong. Like we should have done it this way. Maybe he would have been like this, or if we would have done this, then maybe he would have been like this. Maybe he wouldn't be mad at us for this.
Yeah.
And so hopefully what we're doing is right.
Yeah. Well,
probably won't be, but then we'll just like, I don't know. Sometimes I think whoever talks to me is just gonna need a lot of therapy.
I'm gonna go to see Joe.
I already know like the elf on the shelf. I'm like, oh my God, we're fucking our kids up. They're gonna need so much therapy later because when they realize that it's not real and it was me moving it randomly in the night and making it do stupid stuff, they're gonna be like, that was you? Yeah.
Bullshit? Like this Santa Claus?
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm fucking my kids up somehow, but I'd like to think, like, as of right now, they're okay.
Well, you're doing, I mean, I feel like from outside looking, you're doing a pretty damn good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see when they become adults.
Yeah, we'll see how they turn out.
Well, I was the crazy one.
What if they completely flip and then Evan becomes like super chill?
I like to not tell Evan ever, can you just be like your brother and chill? Can you just chill like your brother? Growing up, I got told that a lot. Not by like my mom or anybody, but like.
Did you have?
So I have like 4 or 5. It depends how you count them.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No.
So I actually have 2 biologicals, me included. So I have my older sister, And then I'm the middle child. And then I have a little sister who died when she was 5. She had Rett syndrome. And so she was wheelchair bound, but she died from a seizure. So you can see why I'm like really advocate on it. Yeah. And and then I have a stepsister, and then I have from my dad's first marriage, and then I have a stepbrother from my stepdad's marriage.
Okay.
So I got a whole. That's why I'm like, well, are we counting like immediate what, like blood or like not? So yeah.
Yeah, I get you. And then you didn't grow up here, right? You grew up in Texas.
I moved here when I was 8.
Okay. Why'd you move? Why? What happened?
My mom. So right after my little sister died, then like a month later my dad died. I know, right? Sad story. My mom was already with my stepdad at the time, and he got a job promotion here, and we moved here. And I was 8, so I couldn't like stay at the house in Texas by myself, so I had to move with them.
Oh, okay.
But I'm from a really small town in Texas, like super small.
So this is kind of familiar.
When people are like, oh, Yuma sucks, I'm like, dude, I'm from a town way smaller than Yuma.
Yeah.
And now Yuma's bigger. Like I'm saying, Yuma was big. Small? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But like kind of more spread out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, back in the day before Yuma was even like as big as it is, they were like, Yuma sucks. I'm like, I'm from a small like country town. So
yeah. So when you came here, it was like, okay, this is a little bit bigger.
Well, except for the heat. We have humidity there. Like
I rather take the hot, like straight hot.
Look, visiting, I would rather take dry heat than humidity. Are you trying to sit like me?
Yeah.
I look like a boss, huh?
You kind of do. I was like, oh, Amber.
Like I'm like a.
Amber looks kind of tight.
I know.
I can't sit like this.
Yeah, you like a.
Is it both? How?
I don't know. This is just my flow.
You're fucking gangster,
I think because your pants are too tight.
No, there's no such thing.
Oh, well, you know. Okay.
And then you did one of these. You're like, listen here. Okay, well, you know.
What was we talking about? I forgot.
We were talking about weather.
Oh yeah, the weather. We're talking about. Oh yeah, so I have those siblings, and then what was your question?
No, I was just talking about like because I mean I kind of knew that you weren't from here, and I just thought people could know that like you weren't from here, and just learning a little bit more about you.
Oh, about me.
About you, and then since we're on it, since you moved here, then how did you meet Steven?
We went to the same high school.
Cibola?
He's 04, I'm 03. So like we hung out with the same people.
Oh, you didn't just
Then he saw me dance at Club Space and he was hooked ever since.
What's up, girl? I want that one.
Yeah.
He went to go holler at you?
Yeah. Well, I had to wait till he turned 18.
So you farmed him?
Kinda.
You farmed Steven?
No, I wasn't. It's not like I was patrolling looking. I wasn't like looking for him. I was.
You kept your eye on him and your
I just didn't want to, like I didn't want to go to jail. So he graduated and then he drunk hit on me and I laughed at him. He like gave me his number. Yeah, in his face.
Did you write it like on a napkin or something?
On a paper. You know, back in the day. This was like 15 years ago. Well, like that's when not everybody had a cell phone. Like that was like.
Did he have one?
I don't know. Me? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, but he gave
I think he did, but it wasn't like you always took it everywhere.
Around service in Mexico.
I called him. Okay, anyways. So he like me and one of my best friends, we went to a party.
Yeah.
And it was like a graduation party, and we went to it, and he was all drunk, and he gave me something. He was like, "You should call me. We should hang out."
Yeah, so he dates you at Club Space.
And I was all, well, because when we met at Club Space, he was dancing with this one girl, and I'm like, lame. She can't even dance, and like. That's me.
Did you try to dance harder so he can look at you?
I didn't have to. He eventually just like somehow wandered over. He felt my bad. Wandered over, and then we just danced the entire time. We probably looked like we were having sex on the dance floor. No penetration though.
No dolphin.
Not that probably couldn't happen because it's Club Space and you know ghetto shit happens. Ghetto shit didn't happen with us. Just so we're clear, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so then after that, I didn't talk to him or see him.
Yeah.
That was like before he graduated. And then, graduation night, he was at a party and he drunk gave me his number and I laughed in his face. I'm like, I'm not gonna call you, you're pathetic. That's not gonna happen.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah, right?
That's cold.
Had the number. Dude, I called him the next day.
Why did you diss him? Did you feel like you didn't want to make it easy?
I don't know why.
You were just
because that's me. I'm like,
were you thinking about when he was dancing with that other girl at Club Space? You're like, you know what? This is for that.
I remember 2 months ago, you didn't pick me for. No,
I feel like there's probably a little bit of that.
I didn't want. I didn't think I like, there was a lot of people around. I'm like, I don't want them seeing me talk to him because
he's young.
Then, and then they're gonna be like, what are you doing? You know, and so I kind of like played it off. Back then I cared too much what people thought. I cared too much what they were gonna think, what they were gonna say, whatever. And now I don't give a fuck. If you don't like me, don't look at me. Yeah. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't watch. If you don't like what I say,
I feel like
earmuffs. Like,
if you would have told me that before, I would have never believed that.
Yeah, I cared way too much, and I would do things to impress other people, or I would be some way in front of somebody, but in front of my real friends, I'd be myself. And what was cool about Steven is we had the same friends, so he knew who I was. So if I tried to be different, he's like, dude, you don't have to be quiet or chill around me. Like, I know you're
it's like
fucking loud.
Big reason why you guys work, because you're able just to be
and like, there's no secrets. Like, he knew who I was and like knew a bunch of secrets, and we all had mutual friends. So like, if I tried to like be cool and be like, no, I'm this and I'm that, and you know, like when you're trying to like get a guy to like you, I guess, I don't know, then I couldn't lie to him because he knew everything. So
I get it.
I got to be myself from day one, which is a bonus because he kind of knew what he was getting himself into. So when he tries to be like, well, you're fucking crazy, like, since day one, fool, you already knew.
You already fucking knew. There's no secret.
And then you signed a marriage certificate, so you were fucking well aware of what you were doing.
That's too funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, because I think a lot of times too, that's a huge benefit, was like you were able to be yourself to the fullest from the beginning. Because like I had a lot of conversations with like friends and stuff. Is like when you're starting to talk to somebody, like you want to impress them, so you put like almost this avatar of yourself of like who you want them to like, you know, instead of being who you are.
I think it's a really cool trait to have too, in a sense, because I'm 34. I'm gonna be 35 this year. Dang, I know. I'm so close to 40s. Can you believe that? I'm closer to 40 than you are, so that's why. But a lot of people still don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to find themselves, or they're still trying to work through that, or do I like this, do I not? Do I want friends like this, or do I want this? And a lot of people still at my age change themselves for other people. And I think it's really cool that I learned really young not to do that. And a lot of people, I think, are still trying to find themselves or struggle with that kind of person they want to be. And I don't. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, so, that's amazing. Well,
but if you would have told people that I went to high school with, like what I do now or whatever, they'd be like, even if you would have told me like, oh, Amber, you're going to be this, and you're going to be a nurse, and you're going to do this, and you're going to accept an award, and you know, all this, and but you're going to go through all of this crap, I would have been like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be somewhere partying over here, and and like, that would have been it. And then I didn't even want kids when I was younger. My sister graduated and went straight to the Navy and got pregnant right away. And when she would go on deployments and stuff, I was in high school, and we would watch her. We would have her kids.
And you were down
and,
for it. Like,
I was all, I don't want kids. No, I'm going to do my own thing. And then when I did, I'm like, oh, well, okay, here we go. And I think it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And that's one thing I didn't want was kids. And
here you are.
Killing it.
Killing it. Well, I was going to say, seeing you with both of them, you're like, you're an amazing mother for sure. And seeing you with them, because I would have never believed that. Like, if you would have told me that, like, no way.
That I was an amazing mother, you wouldn't believe that?
No, like, you wouldn't want kids. And I was like, I would have never believed that before, because you're so good with both of them, you know? So I was like, I would have never believed that before. What was that thing that switched in your brain that made you kind of not give a shit about what other people said about you? Where you gained like that? Because I think there's always something that happens.
I think when people started doubting what I could do. Like in high school, I got told once, oh, well, you'll be the one in the family that probably ends up pregnant in high school and never graduates. And I was like, okay, duly noted. And I would always get told, be more like your sister. You need to be quiet. You need to be like, just stand in the background, just, you know. And I realized that people kept trying to like put me in something. And I think the worst thing you can do to me is tell me that I can't do something, because then I'm going to fucking prove you wrong. Just to be a bitch. I mean, I want to say it in a nice way, but no, like when I got told that I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that, I'm like, okay, well, not only am I going to do that, here you go. And now I'm a nurse, and you thought I wasn't going to be this. Oh, and then here you go. I'm going to do this too. And so I told my nieces too, I'm like, if anybody ever says you can't do anything, you prove them wrong. And I think that was my whole fire, was people trying to make me be something I wasn't, because they said, if you do this, if you act like this, if you're loud, Amber, if you're crazy, if you're this, you're never going to be this. And my parents never told me that. It was always other people. You know, my mom was always like, no, just be you, you know, and they never like tried to like make me be other people, but other people would. Or they would say, you know, you just have to like don't try to stick out so much, and you know, you're too crazy and you need to do this. And I'd be like, and then one time when I did get told that I wouldn't ever really be anything, I was like, okay.
And then now you're just like,
here's my fucking award.
It's probably gonna be a big ass award. Here's that.
So, you know, that's my motivation. And I think that's what was like, oh, you don't think I can do it? Not only am I gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it being the person that you're telling me not to be.
That's even better. So like now do you, I feel like when people push you to that, right? And then you do those things, like you're telling your nieces, someone tells you can't do something, you go off and you do it. Do you still feel like you do things to still prove people wrong, or now at this point, like the motivation is maybe changed?
I feel like I don't need to prove myself, but if anybody tells me I can't do something, I will prove to you that I can.
Oh, I'll bet, dude.
Unless it's weights, look.
Unless it's weights.
I don't need to, I don't know.
Unless it's Steven coming around looking at your fucking bar and it's just like, nah. It's like, okay.
I have this fear that I'm going to shit myself when I lift weights. And I can't. And like, I'm competitive, like on way other things, but I don't have a competitive spirit to be like, rah! Like
and then shit.
I just can't. You know when people fight for the weight and it's like something they can do?
Yeah.
Like I can't do that shit. I'm like, no. No. I'm fine being mediocre at that part.
No.
I just want to not cry in the dressing room.
Look good naked.
Yeah, look good naked.
Yeah.
And not even for Steven, for me, it's like I'd be like, hello, hi Amber, hello, you know.
So like people that knew you in high school would be like, oh, she got big, or that people don't say that. That's why I was like, dude, I don't want people to look at me later on and be like, oh, you look different.
I don't really give a fuck.
And that too.
Because, I mean, as long as Steven's still hitting it, we good. So, no complaints yet.
Yeah.
And it's okay if I get thicker, because he's an ass guy, so. That's the part that gets the biggest on me.
There you go.
So,
we're
good to go. See, this is why he won't let me on the show. See, now he's gonna be like, why are you saying that about me, Amber? Don't tell people I'm a butt guy.
I can already hear him. He's like, Amber.
He's gonna be like this when he watches it. He's just gonna turn it off. He's gonna start.
You think so?
Yeah. He probably won't even watch this full episode.
He says he doesn't watch it, but I think this one he might.
No.
No.
Because he probably, I already heard your story. No, maybe he will. Maybe when he misses me, no, he probably won't, because he'll be like.
I told him, I was like, listen, I don't know if I said in the beginning, but yesterday was like the day where I kind of like told him that, we never really told him we were doing this, because obviously he's.
Motherfucker. I was like, we're going to do a podcast, but it's going to be like, and you're not in it. And he goes, what?
Well, maybe because you rubbed it in his face.
Well,
I told him, he was sitting down in the car yesterday, and I come up to him and I was like, hey, I don't think I like really officially like told you this, but we're kind of doing a podcast.
Officially, no, we've never said it.
Yeah,
but I have rubbed it in his face many times.
But I was like, we're kind of doing so then I told him, and I was like, well, we're doing a podcast with Amber tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, sorry. And I was like, she's got an award, and I feel like she deserves a lot of attention on it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, it's fine. And usually when Steven goes, it's fine, it's not fine. So I was like, all right, sorry. So I feel like now I have to make it up to him. He's like, it's cool, I'll probably just like go get a haircut and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, take your day, take a day.
Take his dick?
I was like, take a dick. No, don't take his dick. No, don't take his dick. Don't take his dick.
Did you do that there? He was gonna go with Ayden because Ayden's hair's grown back a lot. Oh,
yeah.
I cried. Steven came home, I was putting up socks and I was like sorting them. Can I just tell you I'm really frustrated with socks, okay? There was like maybe 23 socks that had no pairs and all the laundry was done. Like who the fuck, is the laundry person eating it? Where are all these socks at? I gave up. I said, I'm gonna throw these away.
Wait, you threw them away?
Yes, because those are the ones that have been in the basket that I've been looking for pairs for like ever. And there's no pairs.
I think it's like a skate thing.
It's mentally fucking with me.
Because you couldn't find matches or what?
Yeah, but then when I threw them away,
he noticed.
I found the three of them that I was looking for. But I was like, I don't care.
That's fucked.
My kids and Steven don't need socks. If you've seen them, you know they.
Yeah, but like you never know when you're gonna wear those socks again. That's fucked up. I'm kind of against that. That's fucked.
They weren't like expensive stance ones.
No, it doesn't matter.
They were designed ones, but
yeah.
They weren't. Some were Stevens. Well, it's fine. He still has a whole drawer that won't close because they're full of socks. Because he likes fucking different socks.
And they're like $12, $13 each. Those stand socks.
We don't even talk about the logistics of it, but they're older, so you know he worn them out.
Yeah.
But
they're done.
I was doing the socks, and then Steven came home, and I'm just crying, and I'm like, and he's like, why are you crying? I was like, because I walked by Ayden and I rubbed his hair, and if you know Ayden, like he lost all his hair, and he's got thick fucking hair like Steven. He's got thick hair, but it's straight like mine, and then Evan has hair like me. It's not super thick, but it's not fine. It's like we just got a good amount of hair. But it's curly like Steven's. It's got like a wave to it. Evan, we let it grow.
Evan, sorry.
Yeah. So Ayden's hair is coming in, but it's thick already. It's only been like 5 weeks and you can't even see his scalp.
Yeah, it's thick.
And on the top, it's really thick. So Steven's been saying, let's go get a haircut, And I'm like, no, don't get a haircut. Like, just leave it, And Ayden even said, like, I don't want to cut my hair. I think I'm going to let it grow long for a while because he didn't have hair. And if you knew him, you know his hair is like...
That was his thing.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I just want to keep it... I don't want to cut my hair. I just want to keep my hair for a while because it's mine. And I'm like... Okay, like when I went to get my haircut, I'm like, you want to go? And he goes, I don't want to go. And he sat here with Ashley. I'm like, are you sure? And he goes, I don't want to watch people have the option to cut their hair. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, like, okay, duly noted.
Yeah.
And I was like crying because it's so thick and now you can rub your fingers through it. And then like coming up this month, his hair will fall out again. And I'm just like, ooh, because like now his hair's back and he's all about it. And I asked him like, are we going to dye it blonde again? He goes, I just want it to be my hair for a while. I think I just want my hair.
Damn, the way he explains shit is like.
And I was like, okay.
Sure, whatever you want. Yeah, well, that's perfect. To the next thing, one of the last things I had. So like learning about the whole epilepsy thing, like I kind of wanted to focus on that because that's what the award was based around. But now, I mean, if people follow you in the gym and Steven and any of us, we all know that now he's facing the cancer thing, and now he's like on the end stages of all that, right? So there's all that going on. So like now, how, like, just to update everybody, like how far along are we there, and like what's the update on
I don't
that?
know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't fucking know why he hasn't been.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So we actually leave today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow will be day 3 of round 4. So it's delayed intensification, and this will be one of the toughest that he does because now this will be month 7 and 8 that we're pounding chemo into him. Yeah. And he gets like 3 different chemos a week that he gets. Yeah. And he's on steroids right now. So he's just a ball of sunshine. Mix that with preteen hormones and it's great. We'll be there for 4 weeks because his counts will be really low. So we'll have to be within 30 minutes of the hospital. So we'll be there for 4 weeks and then we get a week break. So we'll come back and then we go back for 4 weeks. And then after that, we'll do maintenance.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So we do, maybe I dropped the ball, but I thought we were just gonna go only up there once a month for chemo, but it's actually, he'll be taking his chemo pills at home and chemo shots, and then he'll be switching back and forth on steroids.
Yeah.
And then they're giving him chemo once a month. So we still have a whole bunch of stuff we have to do here.
Yeah.
But we go once a month.
But after this, all the
and we got a little taste of like this last round, it was like 6 weeks and it was every 10 days. Yeah. And we got a little taste of being home, so we're super bummed right now. Like all of us are just really like, because in the last like 5 months, we've never been together that long. Yeah. I think we were like out of 100 and something days, we were only in Yuma at our house for like 26 days.
Yeah.
And so we got really attached to it now, and now we're like, oh no, and we have to leave. But we're excited because every 10 days for chemo looks really good on Ayden. Like he does so good. His hair's growing back. He has more energy. He's a little sass mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a little sass, for sure. Definitely a little sass
and
mouth.
So we just can't imagine like going once a month. It's gonna be good. If 10 days looked good on him, once a month it's gonna look even better. So
that's exciting.
We're excited.
Yeah, he's definitely come a long way from. I mean, we've all been here since like day 1 of that, and I was like, it's been crazy to witness it all and be so close to it. So yeah, super happy that he's finally.
Yeah, we're stoked. So if you see Steven, hug him because he's gonna be super sad for like.
We notice when you're gone, like the first thing is like, do you guys want to go to lunch? And then we'll all go to lunch, and like he's all sad because you're.
He's a Debbie Downer. Like he tries to be all, but he's just like.
We're there for him.
And he'll secretly cry.
He's got a whole squad.
And he just like, I know, I'll text around people like, hey, can you guys just hug Steven today? But I tell him, make it awkward. Don't go up to him and be like, hey, I hope we haven't. No, just like make it awkward. Just like, and like, because then if it's an awkward hug, he'll be like, what the hell?
Tell him I'm doing this for us. This is for us. That's too funny.
If you want, bend over in front of him and just be like, hey, pal. And then he'll be like, oh, I told you to do that.
Just try to remind you of him.
So yeah, if you see him. And if you see Evan, don't ask him how Ayden's doing. Ask him how he's doing, because Evan's like, nobody cares about how I'm doing. They always ask me how Ayden's doing. So that's big too. Like, if you can see Evan, then just be like, what's up, dude? And don't ask about Ayden, because he thinks that the only reason people talk to him is to talk about Ayden.
No, he's my pal.
But I think he knows what he's doing too. He knows how to manipulate the situation.
He's just like, let me get a little bit more.
Yeah, he's really good at twisting words and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know where he gets it from.
Weird.
Weird, right?
Don't know.
Maybe his stepmom. I'm not sure.
Probably not. Probably you.
The surrogate we had, no big deal.
Come on.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, that's amazing. I'm glad everything. That's awesome to hear. That now once all this hard stuff is over, this last one. Then
yeah. I used to think, like, oh, I'm gonna be a nurse and I'm gonna be this for Ayden and it's gonna be great. And then I realized, like, oh, God was just testing me. He was like, oh, I'm gonna let you think that, and I'm gonna let you do all this because I'm gonna give you something that's even bigger, and then we'll see how you do. And I'm like, duly noted.
Definitely passed with flying colors.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think you're doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sometimes I think God has a sick sense of humor when it comes to me, but but so far I've been able to master it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But Ayden's doing good. Everything's good.
That's awesome.
And I get to look like G.I. Jane in a dress.
I'm excited for that. That's gonna look awesome.
I hope I don't
you're
fall
gonna
though.
You all fall up the stairs. Just don't wear like super high.
No, I'm
Just
not.
wear a long dress with tennis shoes.
A long dress with
Oh yeah, I'm
tennis
just gonna wear
shoes.
bands. It'll be fine. You won't
that'd
be
be
able to see 'em.
gangster. You should
You can't
definitely do
even.
that.
I don't know if you can, but you wouldn't even be able to see. Yeah.
That'd be gangster, and then at the end.
I'm like super bummed because we used to do so like part of the epilepsy thing is we did the telegraph. I don't know if you guys ever did it. We did the telegraph hikes. We used to put statistics on walkway, and we'd hike all the way up Telegraph, and there'd be like posters, and it would tell you different statistics on epilepsy, and we would do that. And we would do it in March because it's like Epilepsy Awareness Day, like the International Awareness Day. And we did athletes for epilepsy at the gym. And so we did that one. And then we did the Purple Pumpkin Project, and we're missing all that this October.
No,
so
good.
It's all right. Next year.
Yeah, there you go, next year.
I'm like, no big deal.
No, it's all
Just
good.
do it.
It's all good. Where can people find what your Instagram handles, where people can find more information on you, Ayden's page, like what's all that stuff? All the links to that stuff.
I feel like a gift right now. New post.
New one, that's exact. You already
Swipe
know,
up.
You already know how the stories are gonna hit. Yeah, just yours
My
and then
16K followers? No, I'm just kidding.
I told her, I was like, we're gonna hit 10K because of Amber.
I'm like, 10K, I'm at 16. Just kidding, I have like not that at all.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Your Instagram?
Oh.
What's
like
your,
my name?
Yeah, what's your
like
IG? Yeah, people can follow you on IG.
Nobody ever asked me that. I'm like, my name is Amber Garnica. No. I think it's Amber_G.
You remember?
Yeah, it's super basic.
Yeah.
AARRG. Amber. Yeah, it's just Amber G.
And then Ayden's Facebook page. What is that?
Fight with Ayden.
Okay, to get all the updates and stuff, right? Okay.
I usually try, so like, if it's really short, that's Steven. Like if it's a really short, like PMA type thing, that's Steven. And if it's really long and educated, that's me. But that's because I try to explain everything that's going on. Yeah. Because a lot of people have never gone through it. And so I try to explain, like, this is what's going on, but then this is also why we're doing it. Like when we said he was in remission, everybody was like, oh, cool, so you guys are coming back, you don't need to do anything. And I'm like, no. And then I like explained how it was like antibiotics. You have to keep doing the regimen or it's just gonna come back. And so if it's long, it's me. It's also because I'm like sitting in a hotel with my kid and I have nothing to do but, right? So, yeah, I try to do it in the very beginning and then I'll do one like in the middle and then I try to do like a cool video at the end that shows like his round. Yeah. I like to do the 1 second a day. I got that from Travis.
Yeah,
I did it when Ashley was pregnant. Cry. Yeah, but if I try to get Ayden pooping and stuff, he'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, either.
So yeah.
Bowel movements are great.
Yeah.
There's one last thing I wanted to read from your speech, and I'm not gonna give the whole thing away, but one last part that I wanted to read.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I just want to end.
Am I gonna cry? Probably. Where's my toilet paper?
You kind of already talked about it, but I thought it was cool. It's just directly from the thing, but I wanted to end it on it because I thought it was really cool. It's kind of like the whole premise, like why I wanted to do the show.
Just read it. It's fine.
Gotcha. Quote: "This was not just Ayden's world of epilepsy. It was our famous world now too. So I went back to school to be a nurse, my son's nurse. I vowed to be his biggest support, give him every fighting chance, and if I ever had to save his life, I would have the power and knowledge to do so." I think you took the ultimate responsibility from being like your son's nurse.
I never read it out loud. When you read it out loud, it's kind of emotional.
Yeah, it's intense, and I think doing this show is going to be very beneficial for other people, whether if it's like a situation like yours, where their kid's sick,
or I made myself cry.
No, I made myself cry. But I think that's a perfect thing to end on because that was like the whole goal of doing this, so that if people are faced with adversity, or if their kids are sick, or if there's something to do, I mean, they can do it. And hopefully that'll give them, this show and hearing your story can give them that inspiration to do so. So big kudos to you, and congrats on your own.
I hope that I'm like inspiring people. I always feel like
Definitely.
sometimes when I post too much about like cancer or epilepsy, especially when I first started with epilepsy, and it was like, I was like, oh, people are probably gonna unfollow me, but whatever. Then again, I'm like,
you keep
okay,
being you,
unfollow,
dude.
like
Yeah,
it's fine.
exactly.
I don't care, because it would be like purple, 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 purple.
No.
But yeah.
Well, congrats again on the award, and yeah, thanks for being on, dude.
Thanks.
I think people can.
Hopefully you get to be there, because I'm trying to get you in there to take pictures. So we'll
That'd
see.
be cool. Yeah, hopefully, because I'm not paying $500.
Yeah, it's like $500.
I love
plate.
you guys.
I didn't have to pay that either.
I ain't paying that.
I know. I asked him. I'm like, should I pregame the food? Because
You have to
I'm
pregame
gonna.
the food.
Do I have to eat pizza before I go? Because if y'all bring me like a little piece of lettuce and then there's like a little piece of meat and it's $500 a plate.
Pissed.
So she's like, no, it's like salmon and ribs and something else. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because this girl can eat, and my dress is stretchy for a reason.
Oh, so you can.
I might not even wear Spanx because I don't want to be restricted. I want to eat.
You want to eat?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, congrats. I hope everything goes well with that. Hope everything goes well with Ayden. Yeah, be sure to follow Ayden's Facebook and everything, so to get updates. And then lastly, thank you, Ashley, and everybody at Cafecito for letting us use her little space.
Thanks, Steven, for letting me like step in.
Step in, pretty much.
Then
Yeah.
I gotta go find him. Feed me. Where is he?
I don't know. I'm hungry.
Ready to go to
Let's
burgers and beer.
That sounds tight. Let's go.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Convos Cafecito featuring Amber Garnica. We're out. Peace. Thanks, dude. Thank
I
you,
only
Amber.
cried twice. You made me cry on my speech. You're not supposed to.